Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be drawing the common green magpie. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the bird as we go, and it's going to be cool. Okay, so if you've seen some of my other videos, you know I always like to start with the bird's head. So we're going to have our paper vertical today, which means it's going to be up and down. And I'm going to start his head. I'm going to go to the middle of the page, and I'm going to go up a little bit and then over. So it's going to be right around here. And I'm just going to start with a little curved line that goes up like that. And then I'm going to bring that line over. And then I'm going to create a little zigzag pattern. So I'm going to go down and then over again. And then back and down a little bit longer, and then one more time over, and then a short zigzag line. So it makes like a little zigzag shape over the top of his head. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to draw his beak. I'm going to start here. I'm just going to do a line that comes out and then curves down. He's going to have like a pointy beak because he's related to crows and jays. So now I'm going to come to the end of his beak. I'm going to come back and I'm going to go past where we started. Then I'm going to connect his beak with a curved line. Then I'm going to come down here to do the bottom of his beak. I'm going to go a little bit back from the tip of his beak and just do a line that comes out and all the way back, and then you can connect it with another curved line. Okay, now that we've got his beak done, I'm going to start his neck. I'm going to come to where we stopped on the beak, and I'm going to come down with a curve, and then I'm going to continue that curve like that. So it's like a stretched out S shape. Now I'm going to come for his back and I'm going to do a bump that goes down. Then I'm going to do another bump. It's a little bit shorter. I'm going to do a line back and then a curved line down. And then for the tip of his wing, I'm going to do a line that comes out and it's going to curve around, and I'm going to bring this line all the way back to right above where we stopped with this line. So it's going to come all the way back to about right there, and his wing's going to be sticking off his body a little bit. Now I'm going to do a little zigzag line that goes up like that. Then I'm going to do kind of a cool pattern. I'm going to do a little curved line that comes off of that zigzag line, and it's going to look like he's got like layers of feathers. So I'm going to bring that line in, and then I'm going to go out again, and then into where the zigzag line up there stopped. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to this V shape at the tip of the V. I'm going to make like this line is continuing, and I'm going to go all the way down to this little interval where the bumps start. And it looks like his wings are like layered. And then you can do that again with this little V shape towards his neck, like that. And we'll add more detail later. For now, this is just a basic guideline. Okay, so now I'm going to do a little gap where the branch is going to come through. I'm going to go continue that line down and leave another gap for his leg to come through, and go a little line, and then I'm going to do a bump for his leg, and then another curve, and then a big zigzaggy curve for the underside of his tail. And then I'm going to do his tail coming almost straight down. We're going to come down like this, and then we're going to bump in. And I'm going to repeat that same step for the other side. I'm going to come down, and I'm going to bump in, and I'm going to do one big feather that comes down and curves around back up. So there's his tail. and we're almost done with the basic guideline. I'm now going to come over here and do the branch and his feet. I want to make his feet really simple, and you can make them more detailed if you know how, but I'm just going to show you a simple version. So we're going to make 2 lines coming down like this, right next to each other. Then I'm going to do a little curved line like this, and then a straight line down, and then a curved line over like that. Then I'm going to continue the branch, and I'm going to do a big curve like this that goes all the way there. And then I'm going to come to this gap we did, and I'm going to do a line that comes close and almost touches that line we just did, but I'm going to stop short and then curve into the branch. And then I'm going to follow that leg line to about the same spot, and then follow this big curve out, and I'm slowly going to get closer to it, and then you can do his sharp toenail on the end. So that's a basic foot, and I'm going to do the same thing down here. So I'm just repeating the same steps, making the branch come down. And I'm going to do that curved line and the straight line back, then the other curved line, and then that big curve, and then his leg. This one's going to come out of this little bump. It's going to come down and then bump into the branch, and then down, and follow that curve, get closer and closer, and connect in a point. And then you can just finish off the branch. Okay, so there's some basic bird feet, and I'm going to do his eye. I'm just going to do a little circle, like that. Then I'm going to do a smaller circle inside, like that, and then I'm going to fill in the outside. Then I'm going to do his pupil, just a little dot. And we are done with the basic outline. Okay, so now that we're done with the basic outline, we're going to start doing some details in his wings, on his face, and on his tail. So I'm going to start with his wings. I'm going to come to the end of the zigzag line and do a curved line that comes down to this little spike. Then I'm going to use that guideline to do some feather details. I'm just going to do some curves. They don't have to be perfect because all birds are different. I'm just doing some layered curves here and there, like this. And then we're going to do some feather details. I like to do these in a lot of my bird drawings, and they don't have to be precise. You can just do them wherever you want a little feather to be. But we are going to come to this tip and make this little section, it's going to be black with white spots. So just draw a little pattern in there, and don't do any feather lines because it's going to be black with white spots. You can even draw those spots in there if you want to, just so you know where you want them. Okay, now I'm gonna do, he's got like a black mask on his green face and it looks really cool. And I'm gonna start that. I'm gonna come up to his beak and I'm gonna do a bumpy line close to his eye. I'm not gonna touch his eye though. And then I'm gonna bump over his eye and do a curvy line, and I'm gonna slowly get closer and go to this point right here with the jagged ends. And then I'm going to come to the middle of his beak, and I'm going to kind of follow that same pattern, but I'm going to get closer and closer to the other line as I go, and then finally connect to it at the end. Okay, and all that's going to be black. Now I'm going to come down to his tail, And I'm just gonna do some feathers. I'm gonna start up here, and he's got like feathers on either side. And now after we do those, I'm gonna do, you can't really see, so if you look at a feather, it has like the main stem in the middle, and you can't really see that really well when you're far away, but I'm just gonna do some little lines on each of the feathers, even on the big one on the end. And then I'm gonna do some little zigzag lines on the tips of each feather, and that's where the white is going to be, because the tips of the feathers are like a white cream color. Except for this one. This one's just all white. Okay, now we can come in here and finish his leg, so you can finish bringing his leg past the two lines. And then I'm going to do a big curve that's going to come over. It's going to curve around into his wing, and that's for like his thigh, where his leg is coming out of. Okay, so we are done with the outline and the detail. Now it's time to start coloring. Okay, so these are the colors you're going to be needing. We're going to be needing a bright red, a bright orange, a bright yellow, bright green, dark green, and brown. So if you could find those 6 colors, we are ready to get started. I'm going to start with my bright red, and I'm going to fill in a few areas that are going to be red. So his feet are going to be bright red, and so is his beak, and then his wing area. So I'm going to start with his wing area, and I'm just going to do, I'm not going to push hard, I'm just going to do a light layer of our bright red, but I'm not going to fill in that little shape we did for the black and white. Again, it's just a light layer. It's not going to look real smooth yet. We're going to take care of all that later. And then I'm going to do a layer on his beak, and I'm going to do some of it pushing down hard and some of it light, because we're going to go over with our orange and it's going to smooth it all out. So just do some little areas dark and then some areas light. And that itself looks cool because it adds like its own little shiny pattern to it. Now I'm going to color in our feet, not our feet, the bird's feet, but I'm not gonna color light this time. I'm gonna push down real hard because it's just like that rich red color. I'm gonna do that on both of his feet. Okay, so we are done for now with the red, and I'm now going to get my bright orange, and I'm going to go in those areas where I did red, where I did it lightly, and I'm just going to press hard with my orange, and watch this. Look at that. It just smooths it all out and makes it a solid, smooth, bright red color. That's another technique I've learned with drawing. Okay, so next, this bird is a bright green color over most of its body. It's called the common green magpie, which is kind of disappointing for like bird photographers that want to get it photographed, because it lives in Asia in the rainforests, and it's a very shy bird, so it blends in with all of the green around it. So I'm going to get my bright green, and I'm just going to do a layer of bright green. I'm not going to push hard. Just going to do a light layer of the bright green over all of his body except for his mask and tail. And then later we're going to add some details and shadows and smooth it out. Okay, so now that we've got that base layer down, I am now going to go back with my bright yellow, and I'm going to press hard, and I'm going to go over the whole bird, or all of the green that we did, and it smooths it out. It adds a little bit of yellow tone, but we can fix that, and I'll show you how. And this is all just adding a nice smooth layer of color. Okay, and then you can go back with your bright green if you want to. If there's too much yellow, you can go back and just kind of do this little scribbly. I mean, it doesn't look scribbly, but you are just scribbling, and you're doing like another thin layer, and it just adds a little bit more green, so it's not so yellow. Okay, now I'm gonna get my black. And in my case, I don't have a black. I'm just going to use my pencil and my drawing pencil, and I'm going to come in here in this little shape, and I'm going to fill in everything except for the little spots we drew. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the mask around his face, except I'm going to leave a thin white line around his eye to distinguish the mask from the eye. And that gives it a really cool look. The nice thing about a drawing pencil, if you need like a dark gray or black, is it can get into tiny little spaces and make real defined lines. It's not the best for coloring, but it gets the job done. Okay, and then I'm going to fill in the base of each tail, not the tip because the tip stays white, but the base and then the middle of the whole tail. So each of these feathers is like overlapping the one before it. And it gives it that cool scale look. Okay, now I'm going to get my bright red one more time, and on that thin white line we did around his eye, I'm just going to kind of fill that in, and that gives it a really nice little touch. Okay, now we're ready to start doing some shadows. So I'm going to start with his neck, and I'm just going to do, with my dark green, I'm just going to do a little shadow, and you can start dark and then slowly fade out. I'm going to do the same thing for his chest and belly. I'm going to do that dark shadow, and then I'm going to fade out as I get further away. You can do some shadows down on his leg, and under his tail, and even on like his thigh, around that curved line that we saw. And I'm also going to come do some up here in the corners of these little overlapping feathers on both of these little sections. And then I'm going to do a little bit up on his head, not a ton. And that just adds a cool effect to it. Okay, we are almost done. Now I'm going to get my brown. Brown needs a little sharpening. Okay, I'm going to get my brown, and on the left side of our branch, more like the left edge of my branch, I'm going to do a dark line all the way down the edge, and then I'm going to slowly fade out as I get further away. And then I'm going to get my yellow, and I'm going to go over the whole branch with the bright yellow, pressing down as hard as you can. And that makes a nice smooth look. And then I'm going to do kind of the same concept in here, but I'm just going to do like a very light layer of the bright yellow. Very light. You just want a little tint. And on those little white spots, you just want a little tint of the yellow. And then I'm going to come in here in each of these feathers and do just a little shadow under each one. Okay, and whenever you're drawing, don't forget to sign your name. And I will see you guys next time.